You're listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast with your hosts, Emily
and Jason. Emily, you know what I've noticed lately? I've been getting up early some days, not every day. Been going on a lot of walks, and apart from the 4th of July smell that has been lingering in the air, there's also
Have you noticed a smell?
Well, there's like smoke in the air, so I mean, if it's the burning smell isn't 4th of July, I don't know what it is.
I haven't really noticed. I've seen the smoke when we're driving at night, but I haven't noticed that it's just lingering in the air. In the morning, this morning when you went on a walk,
I'm trying to get to a point.
Oh, okay.
Calling me out on not still smelling 4th of July. I saw all the 4th of July aftermath in people's yards this morning, though. And that was fun. No, but I did smell yard stuff. And by yard stuff, I mean yard spray.
Oh, fertilizer and stuff.
Like True Green, stuff like that.
I can smell it.
I smelled it. There's one particular yard I smelled it at.
Yard?
The Blue House.
Yeah.
Yeah. I walked by, it was probably, I did like a 1.5 mile loop. I only smelled it there. Must have been applied on like Friday or Thursday or something.
That is insane. I can't handle it. Oaks and I were on a walk, and he said something. We saw the people who own the Blue House on a walk, and he was like, they just don't seem like the type to do that.
What does the type look like?
There's probably a type.
You think?
They don't really seem like the type.
They're
get out and
usually
walk the neighborhood, and
yeah, doesn't seem the type. Well, there is a particular smell. It's very much like it's just this chemical smell in the air. And if you're smelling it, it's in you, right? Is that how smell works?
I guess technically tiny particles. Yeah.
I don't like to think that about bodily functions.
No.
If you smell it, you've been to some public restrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Anyway, and then you go along other people's yards, and on the edge, this I don't understand. I don't get this. On the edge of not everybody's, but on the edge of some people's yards.
A couple, not that many people in our neighborhood.
Yeah. Several. At least 3. The edge of their yard is brown. They'll have this beautiful, quote unquote, beautiful. I think weeds are beautiful. Like dandelions and everything else.
Think diversity is beautiful. It's not even like our yard isn't even full of dandelions. We barely have dandelions. We have tons of clover.
Yeah. Well, nobody wants that, apparently.
I can't understand that. But anyway, they have
the brown strip. They have the brown line along the entire property. They do all this work to cultivate this manicured lawn, and they have this brown line across their whole front yard where they just killed the grass with Roundup so they wouldn't have to weed eat next to the road.
I don't get that either.
First of all, you don't have to weed eat next to the road. You just use your mower and it's just
not a little closer.
It's just not quite as close as a weed eater. Otherwise, they have a brown line.
I don't understand the brown line. I don't get it.
They took the time, I'm going to kill this grass along my entire yard. I'm going to expose myself to Roundup, which has been proven to cause cancer, and spray it all over my yard, or at least the front, so you don't have to weed eat. And then I don't get it. I don't get the perfectly manicured lawn, honestly. I get mowing, obviously.
Yeah, well, we live in Kentucky. So, Jason, some people on the internet don't realize that grass just grows in Kentucky. You're not really like planting grass.
Yeah.
It grows.
Right.
You don't have to try and make a yard. You don't have to water your yard.
No.
Right now, we have a lush green yard, and we do nothing.
Right.
But it's clovery. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah, the bees like it.
There's grass, though. There's types of grass, different grasses.
There are pollinators in our yard.
Yes, but I'm saying some people think having a yard is so wasteful. Like, you're planting that space, but that's not how it is in Kentucky.
Well,
so it is a little different.
Also, if you didn't cut it, you have nothing but ticks and...
Yeah, you have to
snakes,
cut your grass.
Venomous snakes.
If you have kids.
Yeah.
You really do. So I just wanted to clarify that because some people don't understand that who live like in Arizona, and people plant yards there and then have to water it constantly, and it's like a huge suck on
No,
resources.
we're trying to spray our yards so we don't have yards over here. We're trying to kill our yards over here, and we can't.
The yards are
It's
overtaking the roads.
So
We aren't, but apparently 3 people in our neighborhood are.
we have such a grass problem. They're
I am this close. I'm holding my fingers up very close.
I was gonna ask.
This close to doing a neighborhood newsletter about.
I think you should.
I'm going to.
Not
it
even
is time.
calling anybody out, just like saying, do you understand the dangers of treating your lawn?
Also, like, you have an effect on my children because your runoff goes into the creek, and that creek is where my children like to play. Well, I don't really let them.
Yeah.
Because I just think
we
about
choose other creeks and
yeah.
pretend that it doesn't also have
It
true
does.
green runoff.
Like, people aren't thinking about that. Everything ends up somewhere.
Right.
So, like, you aren't just impacting yourself and your yard. I don't get the thought process there.
Right. I think people, when it comes to health and like being called out on things like that, when it comes to if you wanted to do a newsletter or whatever for the neighborhood, just saying, listen, do you realize what you're doing? I think people fall in 3 camps. I think you've got the people who care, us. I think you've got the people who don't know, don't realize the impact, or
they haven't thought about it.
They haven't thought about it at all. Like they think,
why wouldn't you want
but
flowers in your yard for the bees?
Well, I remember as a kid looking at a perfectly manicured lawn, not knowing that it was treated. I had no idea. I just thought, wow, they have a perfect lawn. That's cool. And I thought, man, that would be such a nice lawn to play in. Because it was just so perfect. It looked
toxic.
Well, I'm saying as a kid.
For the entire season.
Yeah.
And I'm not making that up.
Right. And then there's a third kind of person. And this is the one I don't understand. It's the person who knows it. And I'm not just talking about lawns. This spans all health things. And we can talk about it in a second. But there's the person that knows it and doesn't care. Or they might care, but they're not willing. They don't care enough to make a change. And that's interesting.
Or their desire for a lawn outweighs the recognition.
Yeah, right.
But it's not just environment; it's our health too.
That's what I'm saying. It's well, yeah.
And so then, are they skeptical? Are they non-believers?
I guess that's
like
a possible.
They hear the information and like that's not real.
I guess that's a possible fourth person.
But there's a recent study.
Right.
That Jason was telling me about. And I already thought this on my own.
Well, probably because
but not scientifically studied. You know, a lot of times I can recognize something and be like, yeah, that's not good. I can see that that's not going to be good. Right?
Right.
That other people aren't thinking about, maybe?
Okay. Well, let's get to the...
Okay.
Yeah.
So the study is, if you live within 1 mile of a golf course, finish it out, Jason.
If you live within 1 mile of a golf course, it increases the risk of or chances of Parkinson's disease by 126%.
126%.
Now, I don't know all the details of that study. I don't have like every data point. How many years does it take? Or yada, yada, yada.
Hopefully it takes a lot of years because I lived right down the road from a golf course.
Your entire life. Your entire childhood, yeah. So I don't know. You just look it up if you're interested. I'm not so invested in that because we don't live near one. We do live near people who trigger in their yard.
Not
summer.
that many.
No.
And we live uphill. I really lean on that. I'm like, we live uphill.
We don't get runoff. We run off into the other people and dilute their treatment.
Dilution is a solution to pollution.
Is that true?
Yeah,
is that a thing?
Obviously.
Is that like Schoolhouse Rock?
No.
It should be.
Let's make it.
You want to remake Schoolhouse Rock?
Crunchy
House Rock. Yeah, let's do that. We couldn't get sued by...
That's not our secret project.
Oh, yeah. That's not no. Well, I'm going to go back to that. So, okay, yards aside, that's just an example because it's what I smelled this morning, and I thought, wow, yeah, I want to talk about that. It's whole foods versus fried foods, garbage foods.
Well, that's a different thing.
No, it's not. No, hold on. It's exercise. It's all the things that there's 4 camps. I guess we got landed on 4. There's 4 different types of people for every different type of situation. And I'm not saying one person can't fit in those categories differently. Somebody might look at their yard and think, oh, that's not a big deal, but be really big into like whole foods or fitness or whatever. So obviously there's a lot of variances there. But the mindset's still the same because it's you have knowledge, or at least something has been presented to you. And the question is, what do you do with that information? Do you take it, regard it, change? Do you take it, regard it, don't change? Do you take it, try to ignore it, pretend like everything's okay? I think most people fall into that camp.
Or they feel exempt. Like, well, that won't happen to me. Like,
based on nothing.
I don't know. This sounds rude and judgmental, and I'm not trying to sound rude and judgmental.
We're not trying. I do want to say, I'll get back to you. I don't want to say that we're trying to be judgmental. I'm actually just kind of thinking about the people or the mindset.
The process. Yeah. People who consume like fast food constantly or junk food, garbage food for their whole life.
Right.
And then end up with cancer and wonder why me.
Right.
Like, or
that sounds harsh, but it's true though.
I mean, I just read this thing from Joel Salatin, and I was like really encouraged by it because it feels like I'm the only one who thinks this way. But the people who are believers going to church asking for prayer over ailments that they caused themselves, like type 2 diabetes or something, and like then they continue to live in this lifestyle asking for healing, like hoping for healing without taking action.
Yeah.
And like he just wrote this whole article about it, and it was like, yeah, we aren't being good stewards of our bodies. But no, I was thinking, like, I look at older women, women who are in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. And I see like, okay, so this person looks like they're in a lot better shape than this person. What are they doing to age gracefully and to like work with their bodies,
sure.
You know? And like there was a woman sitting in front of us and she was struggling to stand up. I don't know her health history. I don't know what's, whatever, but she didn't look to be older than 65.
Okay.
And so you think like, how could I make sure that I'm not in that position? Right? Everybody has seen people ahead of them on the journey, and you can learn from their mistakes. Like,
yeah.
Okay, she didn't stay in shape. She didn't.
Or don't walk in front of a bus that's coming towards you.
What?
She could have been hit by a bus, Emily.
She wasn't hit by a bus.
You never know.
She wasn't.
Right over the knees.
No.
Couldn't stand up well.
But
you never know.
I'm not exempt from that. That's what I was thinking is, okay, I'm 36. I really need to actually try to pursue. I was doing bar every day or every other day or several times a week. And then I quit because it was just too early in the morning.
I mean, you had to get up at 4:45 in the morning.
That doesn't excuse not doing something else.
Sure.
Like I have time in my day.
Yeah.
I need to figure it out. Even if I'm just doing a plank for a minute here, 10 push-ups there, 100 sit-ups there, like you can squeeze it in.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, then my trajectory will be what everyone else who didn't take action.
Oh,
You
I
can
feel
see
that.
it.
I feel that because I'm terrible at I'm pretty good about being laser focused on things in my life, except working out. Working out is the one thing I can't stay consistent in.
It's miserable.
It's because it's miserable. I hate it so much.
I would much rather do manual labor.
Yeah, but there's not like...
I know. Like, can someone please hire me to move a pile of bricks?
Oh,
I would much rather do that.
We have plenty of rocks in the backyard we need moved if you want to start next week.
Are you going to pay me, Jason?
You're paid in health. You're paid in health.
What? We have rocks? What do you want me to move?
Oh, there's a whole
that
bunch
whole
right here.
Wait, you just want me to start removing those?
Yeah.
That seems like a bad idea. Where am I going to put them?
Figure it out. Move them to a spot and then move them again.
No.
2 days later.
I'm not all about that.
Then move them again 2 days later. Just get them out of the way when I mow.
That's why gardeners, like real gardeners, seem to live longer because it's hard work to garden.
I disagree. I think they're just enjoying nature and living simply and
embracing beauty. But there's like this physical element where you're like kneeling, getting down, getting up. Isn't there something about like your ability to stand up from sitting is a marker for how long your
that was coherent. Nice.
There's something. It's like if you can stand up without using your hands, you have like a greater chance of living 5 more years or something. I don't know. We gotta look.
Okay. All right. We're good. 5 years. I'm good.
Yeah, but it's something. Okay, we have to look that up.
I had
Should
to
look it up
stick
right now?
my hands out. No, we're good. It's fine.
Yeah. Y'all believe me.
Because it'll take you 10 minutes. Like, how to live 5 years longer.
No, there's something. Someone's going to comment.
For living longer.
Somebody's going to comment.
Yeah.
They're going to know what I'm talking about. Please.
If you have any idea what the heck she's talking about, leave a comment below.
But gardeners, I mean, they're like down and up, getting on their knees and... But
you have a fascination with being able to squat and have your heels to the ground.
I do, or we do?
You do.
We do. I caught you in the backyard on the slope trying to increase your... When we lived in South Korea, all the adults...
Koreans, pretty much.
Koreans.
I mean, I would say at least 99%. We don't know, except for the ones who've been hit by a bus.
I have seen 90-year-olds doing it.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Squat with their heels all the way to the ground, and not like a wide squat. They're just like standing there, and then they can squat down, knees together, or at least close.
Knees pretty much together, and heels all the way down.
Heels on the ground, toes down
too. I don't know if you would. just making sure in case somebody had a.
I can't do it. I couldn't do it when we lived in Korea. I was 21 years old when we moved there.
But we have a slight slope in our backyard.
So Jason and I are trying to get it.
We can, it's not that much of a slope. It actually gives me some hope that we can get back to it because I can do it on the slope for a few, maybe 20 seconds or something. But I feel the burn in the front of my legs. So that's weird. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
You would think it would be in your Achilles.
Something, yeah.
But I make my children... once a week, I'm like, squat.
Because all kids can do it.
Yeah.
At first.
Yes.
And they lose it sometime near...
At some point.
At least around 10, because our 7-year-old can still do it.
Mm-hmm. But I continue to say squat and keep your feet down.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep your feet flat. I try to remind them as much as I can think of it.
Try it right now. If you're standing right now, try to just squat down. Keep your feet flat, knees close together. Can you do it without falling over? We are not responsible for any injuries that are incurred during this podcast episode. I should have said that really fast. So disclaimer. I don't know what that has to do with.
That has nothing to do with anything except.
But it's important. If you can do that, you'll live to be 100.
5 years longer.
You'll live 5 years longer. I want to go back to what you were saying about Joel Salatin, what he had to say about, asking for prayer about something that you caused yourself and continue to cause yourself. The only pushback I would put on that is that I would say most of the people doing that do have some sort of, and this isn't mean, ignorance in health, meaning they're not necessarily just able to comprehend that all the choices that they have made when it comes to diet or exercise or whatever caused what they are dealing with currently.
But what have you told me over and over, Jason?
Ignorance is not an excuse for what?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You always say ignorance does not exempt me from the law or something. I'm like, that's...
No, that's true. That's a thing. So that, yes, that is a thing in the law. Like, ignorance of the law does not exempt you from the rule of the law.
Right.
So like, I didn't know you couldn't go 90 miles an hour. Well, it doesn't matter. You did, and you broke the law. That's true. That doesn't really factor in when asking for prayer.
Well,
it factors in when with your body and your body. Like, yes, you're not exempt from having type 2
symptoms,
diabetes.
Yeah.
If you've eaten terribly your whole life.
It just feels so unfair that they have engineered food to be so addictive that is
stacked against, particularly in America, the health of people. It's stacked against you
over and over and over, and it's not even necessarily your fault because your parents fed you that garbage, and then you're addicted to it because you were brought up on a highly processed, hyper palatable menu, and so
everywhere you
can make the choice to change.
And everywhere you look, no matter the restaurant, you can hardly even find a healthy restaurant.
I know.
They exist. They exist somewhere.
Especially in bigger cities.
I would wager to say it is far less than 1% of all restaurants you'll find in any city when it comes to, is this actually healthy?
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to back that up. I'm just saying that. I cannot see.
We make a lot of claims on that.
Well, look at all the but look at all the fast food restaurants.
I know. I mean, just look at the sit-down restaurants. It's all burgers and fries, and then
deep fried
a salad
everything
with whatever the
croutons
dressings are. Like, it's not even
grocery stores. Don't forget grocery stores.
We went.
How many aisles are dedicated to health, healthy eating? We
never go to Sam's Club, hardly ever.
Yeah,
we don't have a Costco. I hear Costco's way better.
I would like to see one day. Last Costco I've been to was in South Korea.
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
I haven't been to a Costco.
Yes, we went. Remember, Jason?
What?
What
are you snapping at me for?
Our 5-year-old learned how to snap, and it is so cute. Every time he's trying to talk to you, he snaps at you.
So rude.
It's so rude, but it's so adorable.
He doesn't know that it's rude.
No. He's
like, hey, Dada. Because he learned how to do it, and that's...
Yeah, he's not necessarily snapping at you. He's just snapping all the time, but definitely while he's talking.
Also got another fun quirk where I don't know how he came up with this, and where he heard, it's not from us, whatever.
It's from Angels in the Outfield, you said.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe it's from The Magician's Nephew. They listened to that on Yodo.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, so... somewhere along the way, he replaces the word very, let's just say, with the word BAM.
B-A-M.
B-A-M. And he's trying to say the other one, but it's...
D.
Yeah.
The one that starts with a D.
But he's like, he'll come up to Mama and he's like, I'm BAM hungry.
Yeah, that's BAM good. That is BAM good.
And I'm thinking, that's pretty awesome. Until he starts figuring it out.
He's accidentally said the other one before.
Yeah, we haven't said anything.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. It's the hardest part is not laughing about it.
But in The Magician's Nephew, they say that D word quite a lot.
Bam, fine woman, sir. Bam, fine woman. I don't know. It's okay because it's C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
If he says it, you can say
It's
it.
blessed.
Yeah.
Um,
It's blessed. It's the blessed word. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Hold
Mm.
on. Let's regroup. I was starting to tell a story.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Should we? Can you listen?
I can't.
You can't.
No. You're starting to tell a story?
Yeah. I had a point.
Oh, yeah.
That looks really bad.
What?
I was in the middle of starting to tell a story, and now I have no idea what we were talking about.
We should eat something that helps us cognitively.
I know. I was starting to say something, and then I snapped, and then I went off on tangents, and now I'll never know
No.
until I re-listen to this podcast episode.
Which, who knows if we'll ever do. Well, maybe it'll come back to you. Costco.
Costco!
There it is.
We went to a Costco
Is
in...
it Costco or Costco? Because there's like a phone company that's Costco, I think.
I think it has a T.
Okay.
We went to a Costco in
I wouldn't know. I've never been to one.
Wisconsin. Yes. Remember they had that delicious creamy dip
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
we lived in Wisconsin and we
Okay.
called it the name of a drug.
I was just back from
just back from Korea.
Korea, so
Yeah.
hardly counts. No, that stuff was crack cocaine.
That was so good. We tried when we went up to Wisconsin, or I went up, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago and tried to check and see
They
if they
didn't
still
have
had
it
that.
anymore? Yeah, because people, they probably got sold out. I
It
don't
was
know.
some kind of sour cream
That's good.
chip
It was in
dip.
a red container.
Oh, so good. It's a good thing we don't. Anyway, the whole point of that was to say we went to Sam's Club, which we never really do.
Wow, we inceptioned this conversation. We were a conversation within a Okay, go ahead. We're back up.
We were looking for an outdoor table. Tables are so expensive.
Yeah.
Outdoor furniture is absurd.
It's stupid.
And
Oh,
all I
sorry.
think about are the forever chemicals that everything's treated with so that it doesn't get mold on it and all that. Anyway, we went to Sam's and I was like, let's walk around and just see what they have because we have a membership for some reason.
We used to get organic coffee there. That's worth
We
it.
still
I guess.
have the membership.
But they don't sell
and
the
we
organic
don't
coffee.
get coffee there. Anyway, we walked around and just, seeing aisle upon aisle upon aisle of massive packages of garbage food
Yeah.
depressed me.
Hmm.
It really depressed me. So we're like, let's pop over to the produce and have a look and see if they have anything. Organic grapes. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Some organic grapes.
Now we have a membership for our once a year organic grapes haul. Why?
And
What
are
in
they
the
even
world?
really organic?
A
They looked a little too perfect.
little big.
A little too large.
Yeah. The certifications I hear get a little
Iffy.
iffy.
Mm-hmm.
And so this kind of goes back to your book in a way. Is that you could spiral so much. You could go as deep as you want. USDA organic isn't enough for some people.
Right. They want to
Mm.
grow it. I want to grow it.
Understood. But at some point,
Yeah, life it's too much.
practicality does not meet reality. Or what I don't know what I'm trying to say. What you want doesn't meet what you get, what you can do.
Can I read you? So a lot of people in the country community love nourishing traditions.
Okay.
They have.
Is that a book?
It's
That's book, right?
like a cookbook book thing, and it's a whole movement though, based on Weston A. Price and like the very intentional.
She didn't have any
eating.
children.
I think she did. I don't know, but anyway, let me just read this one quote
That was
to
Charlotte
you.
Mason. I was just kidding.
Sally
Wait, Weston A. Price is
Weston A. Price
is a man.
is a man.
That's why you missed the joke. Move on.
He did a bunch of like studies about dental health and like our sugar and
Vincent Price?
no Weston,
Oh.
but no, it was kind of like taken over by somebody else. But okay, that all that information doesn't matter.
Winston Price.
The Nourishing Our Children on Facebook. They're they go with the nourishing traditions. They're part of it.
Did they kind of steal it?
No, I think it's part of it. It's like part of the wise traditions.
okay.
I don't know. Okay. They release some absurd quotes. I don't know if it's from their podcast, but they just make here. Can I
Like
show it to the
absurd in
camera?
a good way?
It just shows like a quote.
If you
a
don't
picture.
bring your crap food into
Your house, they won't know it exists until they have developed a palate for natural, unprocessed foods cooked well. That's not true.
Explain that
Unless-
quote to me. What are they trying to
If
say?
you don't,
Explain
it's
it
your
like
fault
I'm
that your
five.
kids have a like. It's your fault that kids
Have a high
are picky or want highly processed foods
How
because
is
if you
that
don't
not
bring it
true?
into your house, they won't know it exists.
Well, that part's not
that's
true.
not true.
That part's not true because they have friends.
Right.
But-
Unless you're isolating yourself. So that's what I was trying to get at is like, yes, you could go so far that you completely isolate yourself from everyone because everyone doesn't care.
Right.
Like,
Here's where I think most people fall. Or were you going somewhere?
No.
Anyway? Okay.
I
I
mean,
think
I probably should have been going somewhere, but
No, I agree with you. That's kind of the point of your book is like do things. Her book is linked, by the way, in the description. You should buy it if you haven't yet. We both are in the audiobook. I am in it.
go read the reviews.
They're
They're
highly
good.
palatable reviews. Yes.
To me, highly
Yeah.
palatable. I
Right.
like to read them.
Because there's a bunch of them and they all love it. If you haven't reviewed her book yet, you're
We're crossing. just review everything,
just review
everyone.
it. Yeah. Anyway, one of the biggest points in your book is like do what you can where you can, and worrying about the things that you can't control is what's going to kill you much faster.
But you actually have to do the what you can where you can.
You should try.
It's so easy to say, well, that's just
But
too
it
much.
should be
It's
so
too
easy
hard.
to make small changes. And you give practical tips in your book that's for sale in the first link in our bio. Or not bio, the description.
Yeah, but Jason, do you remember whenever we talked about paper plates? How many people?
That was crazy.
The backlash of paper plates.
I don't know if we ever told podcast listeners. We had an episode a few months back where we talked. Nobody gave us flack here. It was when we posted it to social media that we said, I don't understand how paper plates. I don't understand paper plates. That's the easiest dish to clean.
Right.
Why paper plate?
People lost it.
People lost it
It's
on social
for their
media.
mental health, Jason.
Not a plate. I understand basting in an aluminum whatever because you can crinkle it up and throw it away. That pots and pans is what takes so long to clean. You got to soak
but
it.
it's those choices. It's all those choices. I'm snapping again.
No, I understand.
Alder has me.
I'm just going back to I'm hitting back at the paper plate people. Plates take 3 seconds to clean. All of them, like the culmination of plates, take 3 seconds. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Plate rant over.
Yeah, but by choosing paper plates, you're choosing forever chemicals.
Well, not if you get good ones.
It's few and far between.
Well, I think most people fall into the camp of, yes, this isn't necessarily great for me, but my body's good at getting rid of toxins. My body's good at taking care of itself, and I'm not that unhealthy. It all just kind of works together. I'm not overloading with the bad stuff. I don't eat at McDonald's every night and treat my lawn but
So then
so they're just like,
more-
whatever, I'm just going to
Yeah.
live my life.
yeah, it'll be fine.
From a mental health perspective, that's not the worst place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But you would argue, why aren't you at least trying at the basic level filtering your water, why not let some clover in your yard? Who cares?
Yeah.
Versus spraying it for all the neighborhood to smell.
Well,
And
I mean,
breathe
I'm
in.
not concerned about. I'm more concerned about people's health, not. I mean, this probably sounds bad. I love the bees. I want to help our pollinators. But I'm more concerned about the chemicals that people are exposing themselves to romping barefoot through yards that are heavily treated and kids playing in it and pets playing in it.
And spraying it into the air. Have you seen these True Green guys? They're not like touching the ground with their stuff. They're literally spraying it in the air as though it's like, oh, there's a bee. And they're like trying to kill it. And it's like, that's just crazy. And you smell it.
Yeah.
It's in the air. It's not fair for the rest of us. It should be illegal. It should be illegal. Unless they figure out some way to like irrigate it locally and not run off somehow.
You're not sounding like you like freedom very much, Jason.
We should be locking them up.
That's why I get so torn. I am like you. I'm like, that should be illegal. We should take down True Green. Lock them up. But like,
well, I would say
we should have the freedom to choose, but people are making the wrong choice.
No, they're making choices that affect people next to them.
Yeah.
They're making choice.
But aren't we all with like,
I'm not making
that's what they would say about meat eaters, Jason. There's too many animals. They're affecting our whatever with the methane, and people believe that.
Okay. Well,
you can't win.
No, there is no winning. Well, how do you survive as a crunchy mom? Because you know what you're doing. Sorry to tell you, isn't enough.
Oh yeah, I know. No, sometimes I fall into the depths of despair thinking about how I'm the only one at the store who brought my own grocery bags. Everyone else
You can't let that
getting
get to you.
plastic bags. It gets to me.
You can't let it get
because I'm
to you.
just saving 5 bags.
And no one else is.
And
nobody
else cares.
Yeah.
Nobody else even thinks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that gets to me. That really gets to me.
And it gets to you that, like, especially being the only one, it really gets to you when your husband walks in with an armload of plastic bags.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing?
Usually when that happens, though, it's that I just forgot.
You forgot to say no bags, please?
No, it's I went to the store on my way home, and I didn't want to bring them home individually.
I just put it in the cart and then put that in the trunk. And then you get home and you get your reusable grocery bags and you walk them outside and you put them in there.
I'll do that
and
next time.
Carried it in.
I'll do that
Carried
next
it
time.
in.
I usually ask for paper, but most of the time they don't have paper.
I know, they quit getting paper at our stores.
Because they're like, well, plastic's just easy. What did Kroger do? Let's call them out again. Feel like they
kept taking the paper bag order off of the order.
Well, no.
money.
They said they were going to be fully paper by a certain year.
By 2024.
Yeah. And they're like, nah.
Never mind. Then COVID happened.
Oh, COVID happened. We're not going to do paper bags. We're going to stick with plastic. Thanks, Kroger.
At Kroger.
At Kroger. At Kroger. How many times can we at you, Kroger? You're going to do all paper, and then you just abandoned it.
You had signs up. The signs were in the stores.
You printed on paper, encased in plastic.
I mean, but
that you were going to switch to paper bags, and you didn't do it.
I would be so embarrassed.
I would be embarrassed if I was Kroger.
So embarrassed if I was Kroger.
If I was Kroger, I would be so embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's that or it's get the...
No, I feel you.
Fill the landfills with plastic bags or cut down all the trees in the Amazon for your paper bags. What is it, Kroger? What are you going to do? Just choose your poison.
But then the states
Why don't you just give people reusable bags and only accept those? Or sell them. We only take Kroger reusable bags or any reusable bags.
There are.
Or you just get a cart full. Thank you, Aldi. You know what you're doing.
Aldi has paper, but you have to buy it.
You have to buy it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, sorry, if you don't, Kroger should do that.
Yeah. Nobody seems bothered at Aldi.
No, they know it's now. There would be an uproar if Kroger was just like, we're not doing bags anymore. The dumb people would be like, no, I want to put them in the landfill. I use it for my bathroom trash can. It's recycling. Well, I mean, that's not quite how it works. Yeah, it is. I could get worked up about it, but I still get plastic back sometimes. I go into the place that I feel small, and so I go into them.
It doesn't matter what I do.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, but your choices do matter for your own health.
They do.
And you should be able to see that when you get your next blood test.
Yeah, I'm like, I already have a life-threatening disease. I can just do whatever I want. No, that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, except for the exercise department. I
But
really need to exercise more.
What was the goal of this, Jason?
To criticize people and their decisions.
No, but just to say, like, your choices do matter. So how do you find a balance in making those choices?
Right. I mean, you wrote the book on it. What's the answer?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. And that's one
Start
thing.
small.
One
Start
thing,
small and
yeah,
work your
start
way.
small.
In every aspect. You go ahead. But I have a point. But go ahead.
One thing that our generation is terrible about is nobody wants to be uncomfortable.
Inconvenienced.
Yeah, I see that in my peers.
Relationships
are far more flaky.
Yeah.
They're not just going to push through. It's like, oh, well, we need a mental health day. And maybe that's important, but sometimes.
But when it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just struggling today.
It's like, we'll work through it.
Push. Be uncomfortable. You're going to edit this part out?
No, I'm not. I don't edit parts out. What are you talking about?
I always say, edit this part out, Jason, and then you don't.
Ding. I did have a point. Oh, so in your book, you talk about like the 5, what is it? The 5,
What did I write about?
I
just gave a speech on this too. Basic needs.
Okay. So in your book, you talk.
Wait, you're going to edit that out?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to make it so you look like you know what you're talking about. We're trying to sell books here.
I think it's funny, but okay, go ahead. Start over.
So in your book, you talk about the 5 basic needs, in terms of like what the things to change in your health journey, if you will. But the whole thing is you got water, air, environment, clothes, something.
Environment's not one of them.
Whatever.
Sleep,
clothing,
shelter.
The whole point is in these different aspects of your life, start somewhere. Start somewhere in each category. Let's say that there's tiers, TEIRS, is that how you spell it?
TIE.
I don't know. I've never won a spelling
that one
bee.
out too.
No, I'm not editing anything out. So just imagine that there's different tiers in each category. Let's say water. Well, tier 1 is like a Brita water filter, countertop water filter. 2 is the under the counter, like start somewhere. Don't just get your water from the tap. I see people get water from the tap that's not filtered and they drink it. Are you serious?
Microplastics and pharmaceuticals in there.
At least start with a countertop. It's $20.
So
it's not the best.
You think that, like, what would be the epitome of clean water to you, though? Like going to a spring and getting your water? Because I took my 4 friends to a spring. And I was like, I wonder if I could just drink this spring water. It comes out of the ground, kind of into a creek, but there's a definite spot where you see it flowing out.
You'd have to get it tested.
Well, I got a cup full, and I took a drink, It tasted so fresh and pure and
Really?
cold. I did. But then I started thinking.
And there's a cornfield up the way, and you
There
didn't know about.
are around. I live in Western Kentucky. There's farmland around.
Yeah.
I was nervous to drink it, but then I thought, stop being nervous, Emily. You're being like those people.
And now she has a parasite.
No, I don't think I do. I was fine within the first little while, didn't notice anything weird. But I did. I called a lab to see how much it would be to get this water tested. They said I could test it for like glyphosate. A glyphosate test on this water is like $270.
Oh man.
Nitrites, which is fertilizers, that's only $70. Bacteria is $70. But they charge you for every little thing.
There's not an overall thing.
No, you have to choose what you want to test it for.
And then you have to test it more than once, like over time,
regularly.
because it's things could get in.
Well, I really wanted to do that because I did want to be the top tier of just going and gathering my water. But I was thinking, what if I just went and got the spring water and then fed it through our gravity filter? Is that still?
I guess it depends on how good your gravity filter is. So it's like you're going tier 5, bringing it down to a tier 2, and then
but still hoping for the benefits of 5.
Possibly a tier 4. Unless it creates tier 6.
Right.
But it depends on where you get in the water. Like, what if it was contaminated, you're back down to tier 1. If it's not contaminated, you're on another level.
Yeah.
Unless it also takes out good things.
That is the concern.
So then you're back down to like tier 3.
Yeah, because is it taking out the minerals and all the good stuff?
I would say the most practical tier, let's just say tier 5, whole home filter with the proper minerals.
No, Jason, people are saying that's not.
What?
There's no right answer.
What are they saying?
That you're stripping your water of everything, and so
pharmaceuticals.
It's dead water, and
we're all just gonna die, dead everything. They're telling you that with their dead eyes. It's dead water. Don't drink it.
So then there's like this idea that if you put it in a glass container and put it out in the sunshine, it recharges it. So that's where I'm like, I don't believe this.
You're about to have to bleep me out. Okay. That was not the point of the entire thing. The point was start somewhere. Mm-hmm. If you have polyester sheets, go with cotton if possible, if you can make that.
But you have to sell people on the reason why, Jason, because people.
No, I'm just saying you don't have to necessarily go buy an organic mattress, though you should. Naturepedic.
No, but people don't necessarily believe that there's microfibers and that contain microplastics.
But that's a different kind of person. I'm saying for a person who feels overwhelmed, but wants to make healthier choices, you start small and work your way up if you can, as far as you can work up. If you don't care anything about it, you don't care anything about it, and you're not going to listen to this podcast.
You think?
Maybe. I think everybody who listens to this podcast cares a little bit about their health.
Don't you?
Don't you? I know what they do care about. Leaving a review.
Stop.
Have you left a review? Still haven't reached our listener to review ratio. So I'm here begging. And I'm still thinking about that person at the show who told you they're not going to leave a review. I would rather you didn't listen. Thank you very much. If you're going to come up and tell us that you're not going to leave a review, not a fan of you.
So you came up with the idea for this episode.
I did.
Where did you see it going, Jason?
I told you.
Did you want it to be an encouragement to people who are making small choices?
Yeah.
Do you want to
make bigger tell choices? People,
look at people who didn't make those choices and see where they are and try to fix that? Or
I'm curious about the people who, I think the worst offender of the types of people that we created for this episode. I'm not saying
personality test below. Just
right,
kidding.
Yeah, first link. Gotcha. The first links for your book. They're going to see it. There's a personality test in the
There
link.
actually is in the front of
Your
my
crunchy
book.
quiz.
No, yeah, it's just like, how crunchy are you?
Yeah.
And
It's in depth.
I gotta tell you, it has no science behind it. They just needed me to have 50,000 words. That was one of those things.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
I mean, say it.
That was one of the, like I asked Jason to give his input, not because I valued his input, but because I needed 50,000 words. And I said what I said. So if there's any bells and whistles or extra fluff in my book, it's probably for word count.
No.
But I meant.
No. Let me tell you this.
I meant it.
There is no fluff in your book, except for the little quizzes and my part. If you don't want fluff, skip my part. Skip the quizzes or whatever little things like that. Everything she wrote in the chapters, it's like Emily's like, I have what I want to say. Here it is. Yes, it's only 40,000 words, but by goodness, it is a concise book. I didn't mean to sell this book on this episode, but man, if you haven't bought it yet, it's a good read. Emily is a good writer.
You're sweet.
She's a really good writer.
Thanks, dear.
So, anyway, it's enjoyable, it's fun, and it's for sale. I think it's only like $8 right now on Amazon.
Wow.
Not that you would support Amazon, but go ahead. You have our permission. I am more so curious about the people who know the information and don't care. I do think there are people I don't think those people truly believe that things can harm them. And the truth is, some things don't harm some people. There's a guy out there who can true green his yard for the rest of his life, and he will not be negatively affected.
Yeah.
Just because that's how it worked out for him.
Is he walking barefoot through his grass,
Maybe.
laying down?
And I'm telling you, there's a person out there who is, and it's fine. And I'm telling you, there's a person out there who's doing the same thing, and it's affecting them greatly.
Yeah, so you never know which one you're going to be.
Exactly. And so you take what you can, what makes the most sense for your life, and do what you can, and don't drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. If you're not doing that, do it in some areas. I need to do it in exercise. I'm going to do it. I have other areas too. It's not just exercise. Other than the exercise, I'm a perfect human. No.
Jason is very intentional about many things.
We should talk about that.
Yeah,
do an episode on intentionality.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
School us, Jason.
I'm very new to intentionality. No, I'm not. No, we'll talk about that maybe next week. I don't know. It's pretty crunchy to be intentional.
Yeah. Really very intentional.
Living on purpose.
I like that. You should write a book.
Should I?
Living on Purpose.
If you would read a book by me called Living on Purpose, leave a comment. I hope you are left encouraged by this episode and not too discouraged. I've avoided crossing my legs like this.
Why?
Because I should just wear shoes, I guess. I've been keeping my feet up like this because I'm very self-conscious.
Oh, did somebody say something about your toe splay?
No, not my toe splay, my arches. Somebody was like, dang, he's got some giant arches in his feet, and I've been self-conscious ever since because...
Whatever, you like your arches.
I have no problem with my arches, but apparently somebody out there does.
That's a different topic of conversation. There is a school of thought that barefoot sandals and being barefoot and all that isn't the healthiest choice because you aren't supporting your arches. I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to
being
that.
Barefoot isn't good?
Yeah, you're supposed to be supporting them. To me, I'm like, but we didn't have shoes back in the day.
So if I'm going to push back on that, I'm just going to say wear shoes when it's appropriate and then be barefoot all the other times. That's how I am. I'm actually barefoot about 90% of the time, believe it or not.
I know you are.
Because I'm at home all the time.
But some people, yeah, no, there's a whole, maybe it's it's big podiatry. It was a podiatrist who told my friend.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
But really, they just want her.
They want customers.
Supporting her, or like weakening her ability to support her foot. But no,
they
this
have been
podiatrist.
taught that so that they don't necessarily.
Big podiatry.
Big podiatry. We're going to start a new podcast called Taking Down Big Podiatry. If you're a podiatrist, what are your thoughts?
Surely someone who listens is related to a podiatrist.
And you should ask them.
Yeah.
And then if they tell you that you should be supporting your arches, you tell them, nuh-uh.
Big podiatry would
You're
say
just part of big podiatry, you conspiracy monger. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Hope you have a great week. We'll be back next week.
Make good choices.
Oh, we should tell them one of our choices. We were going to go to Michigan.
Okay.
We tried to make an on-the-whim choice to go to Michigan to visit Jenny Urich and her family, and she said no.
She rejected us. Calling you out. However, we're both in her acknowledgments in the back of her book.
Yeah, so get her book if you'd like to read those acknowledgments.
Mine's
and also lots
cryptic.
of other inspiration.
Yeah.
And goodness.
Just don't go try to visit her on a whim.
Don't. See ya.